Why do growing businesses love working in Slack? Let's ask Christy at Ari Bikes.
Running things in Slack saves me so much time.
AI summaries save 97 minutes per week. What say you, Rox from Gosney?
Slack helps us build community, it helps us build connection.
Your partners, vendors and customers all in one place. Take us on home, Ashley from Caraway.
If we didn't have Slack tomorrow, I would explode.
Well, let's not let that happen. Visit slack.com/podcast to get 50% off Slack Business Plus.
A twisted new season of The Traitors is finally here.
What did I get myself into?
The prize, $250,000.
I'm gonna lie and cheat and do whatever I have to do to win.
If you're gonna come for me, I'll finish you.
Shame on you!
I'm out for blood.
It is like a firing squad. Boom, 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 boom.
Let the games begin. Emmy Award winner, The Traitors. New episode streaming Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Peacock.
Hello and welcome to I Talk to Ghosts. I'm your host and spirit medium, Jennifer, and I welcome you to my spirit parlor. Tonight's conversation is going to be a little bit of a quiet one. No ghost stories, no dramatic knockings or flying objects, just a gentle exploration of something that often gets flattened into one word: mediumship. We can even take it a step back from there, and we can briefly talk about being a psychic versus being a medium. Now, to me, being a psychic means that you have extra information and knowledge that you didn't come across by normal, traditional means, such as through ESP, Sixth Sense. Oftentimes, thinking about the role of a psychic, they're often consulted with predicting the future or giving otherworldly advice. And to me, a medium's role is to use their psychic senses, but to communicate with those who have passed. I rarely, if ever, give psychic advice. I actually shy away from that. I feel very called to connect those who I am speaking with in the physical world with those who they love, who have passed on, in order to give assurance and comfort that we do continue on past this life. So, no lottery numbers from me, no love advice, really. Now, there may be messages that come through from a loved one who has guidance or an opinion on some of your life events, but that is a different approach than someone just coming to a psychic to learn the mindset of someone else or predict where their job is going or wondering if they should move out of state, that kind of thing. So I hope you understand the difference there, at least when working with me, what I have to offer versus what possible outcomes you could have if you decided to go to a psychic for a reading. So let's talk more in depth about mediumship. When people hear the word medium or mediumship, they usually imagine one very specific thing: messages from loved ones, names, dates, validations, a very particular kind of exchange. But mediumship isn't one doorway. It's more like a house full of many rooms. So let's talk about the different ways mediumship can show up without ranking them, romanticizing them, or even boxing them in. If you're listening out of curiosity, skepticism, or personal exploration, you're equally welcome here. Let's start with evidential mediumship. It's probably the most widely recognized form of mediumship. This is the style most often demonstrated in structured readings or public galleries. Evidential mediumship focuses on specific, verifiable information, details that can be confirmed by the sitter. And your sitter is the person who is receiving the reading. So what is some of this information? It could be names, relationships, personality traits, meaningful memories, cause of death, or any specific details that make someone pause and say, okay, yes, that is them. The goal here is to get verifiable recognition during the reading. Evidential mediums tend to work very consciously. They're listening, translating, and sorting information in real time. It's a bit of like tuning a radio and reporting what comes through without embellishment. This style of mediumship requires clarity, neutrality, and often a strong ability to step out of one's own emotional reactions. Some people are naturally wired for this, and other mediums have to train extensively to stay out of interpretation mode and to stick with what's being given. In comparison to that, let's talk about empathic mediumship. Empathic mediumship can work very differently. Instead of receiving messages as facts, the medium receives it as emotion, sensation, or internal experience. They may feel the emotional state of the spirit, physical sensations connected to illness or passing, or deep emotional resonance that mirrors the person in spirit. This kind of mediumship often overlaps with being highly empathic in life. These types of mediums are people who have always felt the room, absorbed moods, or struggled to separate their own emotions from others. The challenge here is discernment. Empathic mediums must learn what belongs to them and what doesn't. Without grounding and boundaries, this style could become overwhelming and confusing. But when balanced, empathic mediumship can bring incredibly emotional validation, especially for grief work, because the connection isn't just informational, it's felt. Next, let's talk about a really intriguing form of mediumship, physical mediumship. Now, physical mediumship is one that tends to raise eyebrows, and understandably so. This form involves physical effects with the cooperation of spirit energy. Historically, this includes things like the sound of rapping, table movement, temperature shifts, light phenomenon, or even materializations. In modern times, it's more rare and usually happens in very controlled environments. Physical mediumship requires a particular energetic constitution. The medium's body is said to act almost like a battery or a conduit, and you can imagine that would be physically taxing. This isn't something someone just decides to try casually. This gift develops slowly, often under supervision, and not everyone is built for it, and that's okay. And it's also worth saying, physical mediumship has been sensationalized more than almost any other form, which has created both fascination and distrust. At its core, though, it's simply another way consciousness and energy can interact. Trance mediumship involves altered awareness, where the medium partially or fully steps aside to allow spirit communication to flow through them. This can range from a light trance, where the medium is still aware but deeply shifted, to a deeper trance state, where the medium has little memory after the session. In this state, communication may come as spoken words, inspired teaching, healing energy, or philosophical insight rather than personal messages. Trance mediumship requires immense trust. Contrary to popular belief, it is not about losing control. It's about surrender. And I can see why some people might not be comfortable with that notion, even calling it surrender. Many trance mediums spend years learning how to enter and exit these states safely and responsibly. This form often carries a teaching or healing quality rather than evidential validation. Now, inspirational mediumship sits in a beautiful intersection between mediumship and creativity. Here, spirit communication comes through as inspiration, Think poetry, art, music, writing, philosophy, or spoken insight. Rather than delivering direct messages from specific individuals, this medium can channel themes, wisdom, or emotional resonance from the spirit world. This can be one of the most accessible forms of mediumship, and many people experience it without even labeling it as such. That sudden clarity while writing, a phrase that arrives fully formed, a sense of being guided rather than generating an idea or notion or any form of creativity on your own. Inspirational mediumship reminds us that spirit communication doesn't always arrive as conversation. It often arrives as a form of creation. So one of the most important things I want to say tonight is this. You don't need to pick a category and force yourself into it. Please don't. Most mediums, whether they realize it or not, are blends. One style may dominate, another may whisper quietly in the background, or maybe you switch back and forth, and sometimes it depends on the reading. It depends on the spirit you are communicating with. And mediumship isn't something you perform. It's something you relate to. It changes as you change, as your nervous system settles, as your trust grows, as your awareness expands. I often say that practicing any form of mediumship, it is the strongest classroom of personal growth I have ever had to be in. If you're exploring the path of mediumship, curiosity will take you further than any self-pressure ever will. And if you're simply listening because you find this world fascinating, that's just as welcome here in my spirit parlor. I am really happy to say that I have been developing a mediumship one-on-one online course for quite a while now, and I see the finish line. I see the light in which I can say it's completed, and I will be sharing more information about that soon. Have you experienced any form of mediumship in your life? What was that like for you? And if you are currently practicing as a medium, what form of mediumship do you find yourself working in the most? Where are you most comfortable? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so comment where you can. Thank you for spending this time with me this evening. Until we meet again, keep your mind open, your energy grounded, and your curiosity bright. Take care.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. With school out, summer is the perfect time to teach our kids real-world money skills they'll use forever. Greenlight is a debit card and the #1 family finance and safety app used by millions of families, helping kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely. Parents can send their kids money and track their spending and saving, while kids build money confidence and skills in fun ways. Start your risk-free Greenlight trial today at greenlight.com/Spotify. That's greenlight.com/Spotify.